bet you'd be surprised to know that I was able to come up with yet another list of songs which have attained a pretty high chart position despite the fact that there's odd meter being used in the song. Now, truth be told, I can't take credit for all of these because many of the songs that we're going to look at today came from you guys. Many of you left some great comments with suggestions for songs, and these are songs that really do deserve to be looked at. Now, before we get into it, I'd like to reiterate my intention for doing these videos. The purpose of this is not to add another layer of complexity to the process that you're going through when you're learning songs. But remember that old expression, knowledge is power. I can't tell you how many times in 26 years of teaching bass, I've worked with a student who is telling me the process that they go through to learn a song. They tell me how much time it took and what the steps were that were involved. And quite often, there's a lot of room to condense the amount of time that it's taking them to learn the songs and increase their understanding of what's happening within the song. Now, there's another purpose for doing these videos, and that is I just think this stuff is fun to count through. Some of these songs, when you feel the way things are kind of rubbing against each other, what did you just say? The parts of the songs and how it feels. It's just really fun to be able to put a pulse through it and come out at the end of a tricky bit and land on one and have everything kind of fall back into 4/4 or whatever the predominant time signature is. I think this stuff is really fun, and I'm guessing a lot of you do as well. So, I think by now you know the drill. Get out your compass and your protractor and let's start counting. So the first song that we're going to look at today is a song that some of you very kindly admonished me for leaving it off the list for the first video that I did. This is Solisbury Hill from Peter Gabriel from his first solo album in 1977. The song is mostly in 7. There's one little bit right before it goes, I guess it leaves the pre-chorus going into the chorus. And for me, this song, what constitutes a chorus was always a bit ambiguous. The chorus is kind of similar to like the head or the verse, and this is one of them. But let's just start counting, and so we can feel this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. Where is the verse? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You get the idea. It's pretty much all that. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here to that section I just talked about, so you can hear that there's one section where we have, I think, 2 measures of 4. Might be just 1 measure, I can't remember, but we'll feel it. And then it goes back to the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So right, measure of 8, 2 measures of 4, however you like to feel that. That come and take me home. That's where it just needed to be phrased that way. It had to go into 4 in order to fit melodically and rhythmically what was going on before it could go back to the 7. But that's really it. There's not a whole lot of mystery in that song. It was something that whoever composed that guitar part came up with and probably just naturally felt it in 7. So a pretty easy one to wrap your head around. I forgot to mention that Solisbury Hill made it up to the very respectable chart position of number 13 on the UK rock charts. So well done, Mr. Gabriel. For our next song, let me just say this. If we've learned anything from the previous video that I did, it's that the 70s were a time, it was like the Fertile Crescent in terms of creativity in songcraft and arrangements. And we've learned that it was fairly commonplace to have a song with a section in 6 or 7 and have it be, a real hit song on the radio. But 9, 9/4, 9/8, if a band was going to do that, and they did, it would be a song that would be stuffed somewhere in the towards the end of side 2 of the vinyl. Not the case with Heart. though. Hart wrote a song that has a verse that has a section in 9, and they made it track number 1 on their Little Queen album. So, of course, we're talking about Barracuda. This became an actual bona fide top 10 hit. It made it as far as 10, and it's got a measure of 9. So let's give this a listen. And just a heads up, so, the song starts off with that very iconic flanged guitar riff, and that's in 4. When the band comes in, that's all in 4. The 9 starts right at the tip of the verse, right when the vocals come in, and it's just one measure of 9 before it goes back to 4, and then it comes in again on a 9 at the start of the next line. So let's set it up and see what we get here. This is all 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. Okay. So how about that? It's kind of, like I said, this stuff is hiding right in plain sight. And this is yet another one for me as a kid playing drums along to this and going, okay, it's just got a weird rhythm. That's all I thought. And it wasn't until later on that I, counted this thing and saw that it is in 9. So I think that really speaks to the art of songcraft here, when you can take a measure that is seemingly strange with a measure of 9. What it feels like there's an extra beat. If we were to think about it as a measure of 8 or 2 4s, it's got an extra beat before we feel that something that feels like 1 happens again. So I think I chalk that up to brilliance in songwriting, that you can stuff that into a song and have it feel natural, and again, became a top 10 hit. Okay, for this next song, I got to confess, it really did not become a massive hit. This made it up as far, it broke the top 100, it made it up to 86 on the US Billboard charts when it came out in 1974. But if that seems like, why are we even looking at that because of its chart position, I will say this, that look at it from the perspective of, this is a Zappa song, okay? And if Frank Zappa was able to get a song that breaks the top 100, that's saying something. Now, this was a good probably six or 8 years before he had a massive hit with Valley Girl. And this is the song Don't Eat the Yellow Snow, which was on Apostrophe, came out in 1974. And it's a fairly straightforward song when you consider that this is a Zappa composition, and his stuff tends to be quite challenging to count a lot of times. So let's feel this. Let's see what we get. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so you notice how like my count fell off a little bit. I had to rush my count a little bit. So when the drums go into those, so obviously they weren't playing to a click back then. It rushed just a little bit, enough to throw the count off a tiny bit. But it still clearly fits within measures of 7. So there's not really that much more that we can say about this song other than the fact that Frank got a song into the top 100 when he didn't even have to put it in 4/4, but that would come a few years later. Since you were kind enough to indulge me with that deviation from the top 10 there, number 86, I'm going to give you an actual top 10, number 1 smash hit right now. This is Hey Ya from Outkast from 2003, And this song is mostly in 4, but it has a very clever usage of 6 to kind of give it a kick. So I'm going to show you that. But before we get there, I want to talk about the count off for this song. You know, we've all seen drummers count off 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're in. And this song, despite the fact that it comes in 4, it doesn't get a 4 count off. It gets a 3 count off. Okay? You're going to hear him go 1, 2, 3, Okay, he actually says And that is where 1 is supposed to be, because the whole band, the song starts right on that. That's very clearly 1. But he says 1, 2, 3. What he should have said is 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, and then that would fall on beat 1. So if you're if you're mindful of these things and you hear 1, 2, 3, it feels like why did he count a measure of 3? And it could have been just to throw us all off. There's an AC/DC song that does this as well. It might be Shot Down in Flames. I'm gonna take a look, but I'll show you the count again. You're gonna see 2, 3, 4, and that or what is 1. Okay, so here we go.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Nothing too crazy going on there, but it's a very clever usage of 6 to give it a kick with that bizarre count off there. Okay, now this next song I think is the perfect example that summarizes the point of both of these videos that I've made, which is that it's truly remarkable that an artist can get a song on the radio and achieve a really high chart position, even if it's in an odd time signature. And the reason for that is this song is in 5 all the way through, okay? All the way through in 5. It's not like White Room that has a section in 5, or any of the other songs where it just does it for a little bit, like the previous song, the Outcast song. There's a little bit of 6 thrown in there. This song is 5 all the way through. Made it up to number 3 on the UK charts, but did not chart here in the States at all. The song is called 7 Days. It's by Sting, and came out in 1992, I think. Think about what that says. This song was a bit too sophisticated for the average American listener, and it didn't resonate. He had other songs from this album that charted in the States for sure, but this song didn't. And the fact that it went to number 3 in the UK tells me something. So it can be done. It just has to be done in the right market. And who knows if this was even a song that Sting planned to be a single. It could have just been something that was going to be like an album track, but it ended up charting somehow. So let's give this a listen. Despite the fact that it's in 5 all the way through, the thing that makes it sound, I think, easier to digest is what Vinnie Colaiuta is doing on drums. We know that in conventional rock and pop drumming, there's a snare hit on beat 4 almost all the time. And Vinnie puts a snare hit on beat 4 here as well, which I think goes a long way to normalizing the 5 and making the beat feel familiar. So let's listen to this. It's right out of the gate. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once you get into the song, you get acclimated to it. Again, it doesn't feel odd anymore. I don't know that people were going to dance to this. I'd pay $1 to watch someone try to dance to this. But again, it's what Vinnie's doing on the drums, I think, that normalizes it. Okay, now I want to take you to the second verse, because Vinnie does something really cool on drums that really propels the song and keeps it from feeling stagnant. And halfway through the second verse, normally we call it 4 on the floor, which is where you put a kick drum on all 4 beats. But since we're in 5, this would be 5 on the floor. And he puts this on on the kick drum, and listen to what it does to the song here. He's keeping and it keeps the snare on 4. And I should mention that prior to this, he was doing something else that I think normalizes the feel as well, which he was putting a kick drum beat on beat 3, which again is typically what happens in regular 4/4 drumming. So between the kick on 3, the snare on 4, he's doing a lot to normalize the 5 feel. But now let's listen to what happens when he shifts to putting it and making it 5 on the floor here. Okay, this is all still. Now here it is. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 5. Do you feel that? It's subtle. It's not really loud in the mix. Then he's just a brilliant drummer. Duh, you know. He elevates everything that he touches, you know. I think it's amazing too to think that that guy that you're listening to playing this very tasty kind of jazzy stuff also played drums on a Megadeth album, and not to mention, of course, all those great Zappa tunes that we know and love. So, but again, this was 7 Days. So the song's called 7 Days. It's in 5, and it's the 6th track on the album. Way to go, Sting. Hey, I'll admit when I make a mistake, and leaving this next song off of the list for the previous video was definitely an error on my part. This is Jethro Tull with Living in the Past from the album of the same name that came out in 1972. And the reason I left it off the list was I didn't think that this song had attained any substantial chart position, but many of you corrected me on that. And this song actually made it up as high as number 3 on the UK singles chart, and as far as number 11 on the US Billboard chart. So hey, that sounds like a hit to me. So the song is in 5/4, and let's give it a listen. It's right out of the gate with the bass part here. Pretty sure that's Glenn Cornick on bass here, and let's hear what it sounds like. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you get the gist of that. I'm going to fast forward a little bit to where the vocals come in, just so you can hear what this vocal line sounds like with its phrasing in 5. 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. Another example of the glorious prog rock of the 1970s. That you could have a song in such an odd meter like this and have it be like a real hit. I mean, this made it to number 3 on the UK singles chart, you know, that says something. So kudos to Ian Anderson and the boys for being bold enough to believe that they could get a song like this on the radio. So, of course, no list of songs with odd time would be complete without at least one Rush song in there. And this is one that, as many of you pointed out in the last video, was a glaring omission. Should have been on that list. And, you know, here's why. I'm kind of guilty with this song. It got oversaturated for sure. But it's a song that when you listen to it, if you can force yourself to listen to it with a fresh set of ears, you always discover something new, as I did when I mapped out counting this song. So this is Limelight from 1981's Moving Pictures, and this song is really fun to count. I could just let the song play and count all the way through it, and it really is fun. What's neat is that, so it's mostly 6, some 4. The main riff is in 7, but we don't really hear as much of that as we do the other bits. So, so even though we come in strong with 7, it only happens a few times through the song. But what's neat about this song is that I don't think that it ever stays on one time signature for more than, like, most times it's 4. I think there was one instance of where it stayed in 6 for 5 measures, I think. but it's a pretty fast changing song. So let's just jump in and start counting and have fun. I'm going to go through a good bit more of this one than I did in most others, just because of again the frequency of the meter changes here. So let's see what we can pick up here. So this is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1. Okay. So yeah, there was a section there where it was, I don't know, it could have been like 8 measures of 4 that happened, but everything else, man, did you see how quickly that changed? And did you catch the one little bit where I think it happened twice, where there were 2 measures of 3 that were stuck right at the end of a measure of 6? I'm sorry, 2 instances, but one measure of 3 each time. So it's a lot going on in that song. So then what happens next is basically a repeat of everything that we just saw. And I'm going to fast forward to the solo section. That's in 6. It's kind of got a little bit of a lilting feel here. So let me jump over to that. Okay, here we are right before the solo section. There's going to be a few measures of 4, and then we're into a lengthy section in 6 here for the guitar solo. So. See. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. So what's interesting in that is at the first part of the solo, the snare is falling on beat 4, which is a common thing when you're dealing with 6. But then towards the end, I think it's switched over to 3, and this part for me, whether I was playing it on bass or playing it on drums, it was something that I could feel most of it. But it was when the fills come at the end, it gets a little crazy. I always had to start counting there in order to make sure that I was in the right spot. The rest of the song you can kind of feel, again, because we've heard this song so many times and it has become internalized. Even if you think, wow, that's a lot of changes, I don't know if I could count that. If you've heard the song your whole life, like I have, if we're all about the same age here, roughly, try it. Just drop the needle on this or hit play and start counting through this, and just trust that your brain is going to tell you where the sections change, where there's a split, and where that change is gonna fall. And I think you'll fall right into it because you can hear these things, you can anticipate when it's going to come, and that makes it a lot easier too. Once you've made it through the main riff, verse pre-chorus twice, then I think it all kind of falls into line. But a great example of a song with multiple odd time changes that was a massive, massive radio hit. And speaking of how massive of a radio hit it made it to number 4 on the U.S. mainstream rock charts. So again, I have to point out, a mainstream, whatever that means. All right, folks, come on now. Did you really think that we were going to make it through this video without looking at yet another Soundgarden song? Come on! We had 3 of them in the last video. And the one that I left out, I can't believe that I left out, and a lot of you brought it to my attention, is Spoonman. Mega hit for these guys. How mega, you ask? How big of a hit was this? It only made it to number 3 on the US mainstream chart. That's huge, man. Number 3. And again, this song is filled to the brim with odd time stuff. It's really kind of just out of the Soundgarden playbook. The main riff is in 7, the verse is in 4, and then the main riff that comes back in between the verses is the main riff in 7 again. So let's start there, and then I'll show you what else happens here. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is all in 4. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Back to 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it's going to do another verse that's going to have the alternating 7 and 4 thing again. So this is yet another example of, to me it doesn't feel odd. The main riff in 7, and I'd love to know whether the riff is so ingrained in me internally from 30 years of knowing this song. I think that if you're a person who has grown up listening to a lot of odd time stuff, then when you hear it, it's kind of, it doesn't throw you, it's not jarring. Okay, so now let's fast forward to the breakdown that happens about the middle of the song. The first bit of this is in 4, and then the part where he's saying, come on, that's going to move over to 6. And it's pretty seamless how it happens. Let's see if we can feel this. 7, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. No big whoop, right? 4. Okay, here comes the 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and. Right? And then right into the 7. Okay, we're not finished with this yet. We're gonna, from that breakdown, we go into a guitar solo that's over the main riff in 7, and then there's yet another breakdown. And this breakdown is gonna start in 6, mostly drum oriented, and then that bass breakdown that we had a second ago is going to come back, sort of. It's got some drums in it, and it's going to go back to 4 at that point, which is what it was before it was 4. So I'm going to take it from the end of the guitar solo, and we'll count into the 6. 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Everything is 4 almost to the end of the song. It's going to go back to another chorus. Then it ends with the verse coming back. So that means it's going to end with the riff in 7, and the verse with all the space in there that you count as 2 measures of 4. So that's essentially what's going on in that one. I know I keep saying this, but just a brilliantly crafted song. And the way these guys work with time signatures, they truly are the King Crimson of grunge. Friends, I feel that it is safe to say that if there is one thing that we all have in common, it's that we all appreciate the complexities that music sometimes throws at us. And having said that, there's probably a really good chance that you are familiar with a piece by Dream Theater called The Dance of Eternity, which is widely believed to be the mother of all time signature conundrums. And I'm happy to say that we are not going to be looking at that song today. It never made it up quite high enough on the charts to, warrant inclusion in these videos that I'm doing. I'm focusing on stuff that actually got on the radio. Brilliant song, though. However, I have another song that I'm going to show you that is, I would say, right up there with being a maelstrom of time signatures, and that is Good Morning, Good Morning by the Beatles from the Sgt. Pepper album. Now, I want to give you a heads up on how I'm going to approach this. I'm going to take the first verse and break down what's going on there, because that really sets the stage for what happens later in the song. And at the end of this, if you're really curious about the absolute inner workings of this song, there's a great video by a pianist named David Bennett. He does an 11-minute treatise on this song, breaking down all the time signatures, the various ways that it could be counted, what his justifications are for it. So if you like that and really want to go in depth on this, that's the video that you want to see. What I'm going to give you is something that will help you understand how the verses are structured, because they do feel different. They're pretty bizarre. The first verse alone, each line has a different combination of time signatures. So let's dive in. Okay, so here's what we're going to see in verse 1. I'll give this to you on a line-by-line basis, okay? Actually, the intro is just in 4, so we're going to kind of bypass that, drop it right in on verse 1. And what we're going to get is line 1 is 2 measures of 5/4. Line 2 is 2 measures of 6/4. Line 3 is a measure of 5 and a measure of 4. And line 4 is a measure of 6/4 and 2 measures of 4/4. Okay, let's see what that feels like. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, here's where it gets interesting, okay? That's one way to count this, and it seems to make sense. Everything kind of felt where it feels like it wants to go. And remember, in the previous video, I talked about how important feel is for this. For me, and I think for any musician who is performance-oriented, it's always going to come down to how it feels. And can I feel this naturally? Can I internalize this? And can I lock in with the band? Because again, if it doesn't feel right, it's not right. So now what I'm going to show you is another way to look at how those lines are put together metrically. I'm going to have to read this one because it's a lot to memorize. Okay, so line 1, another way to look at this, is a measure of 3/4, a measure of 5/4, and a measure of 2/4. That's line 1. Previously, we were counting that as 2 measures of 5. But now we want to think of it as a measure of 3, a measure of 5, and a measure of 2. Line 2 is going to be very similar, okay? Previously, it was 2 measures of 6, but now let's try looking at it as a measure of 3, a measure of 5, which is how the previous line was structured, a measure of 3 and a measure of 5, but this time at the end, make it a bar of 4 instead of a bar of 2. There's kind of like 2 extra instrumental hits at the end of the measure, which takes that measure from being a measure of 2, what it was in the previous line, to now being a measure of 4, okay? So again, line 2 is a 3, a 5, and a 4, okay? Line 3 is a measure of 5 and a measure of 4, which is how I had it in the previous version. That one stays the same. Line 4, okay, previously it was a measure of 6 and 2 measures of 4. Now we're going to think of it as 2 measures of 3 and then 2 measures of 4. Let's try that. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. So that works too. And despite the fact that I think it's more to juggle, I think it mentally, I think from a phrasing perspective, I like the way that sits better. If I had to read this, let's take it from that perspective. If I had to read this, I would prefer to do it the way I had it the first go around, which was the 2 5s, the 2 6s, the 5 and the 4, the 6 and the 2 4s. Because at least then when I'm reading, now I don't have to shift my time signature that often. I at least get 2 measures of something being consistent before it changes. Whereas in this other way, which feels better to count it this way, would just be a lot to read, you know? And unless you're one of those total pro sight readers that can just sight read Rachmaninoff at the drop of a hat, I think I'd go for something that is a little bit easier to digest when you're reading. But hey, what a totally monstrous song. And let's not forget what the original inspiration for this song was. Do you guys know about this? Kellogg's Corn Flakes. Lennon was a serial watcher of TV. He would just have the TV on all day long, regardless of what he was doing, even when he was writing songs. And this commercial for Kellogg's Corn Flakes came on. And they were saying good morning like that. And he put that into the song. So think about that the next time you're crunching down on a bowl of cornflakes, all right? Okay, folks, we made it to the end, and if you're still here, I want to thank you for sticking around through what I hope was an enlightening exploration of time signatures in popular songs. And as many of you pointed out, in the previous video, no discussion of time signatures is complete without at least mentioning Tool, and I agree with that. And a song that gets brought up quite a bit is 46 and 2. And I think because it's Tool, there is an assumption that this song is, again, a litany of different time signatures. And it's actually not. The majority of the song is in 4, okay? And the first, I want to say, 2/3 of the song is mostly in 4, with the exception of little bits of 7 that happen occasionally at the end of phrases or at the end of sections. But it always falls back into a 4 until we get to like the latter third of the song. And then what happens is there's a breakdown, and they go into one of their like tribal things that they like to do. It kind of breaks down. And then the 7 is the predominant time signature. And it'll be 3 measures of 7 followed by a measure of 8 almost every time. There are a couple places in there, and I can't tell you specifically where it is, I just know it when I hear it, that there are more than 3 bars of 7 before that measure of 8 comes in. And hopefully I'll get it when we count through this. And then it gets up to what amounts to a drum solo over top of this. So the rest of the guys are doing an ostinato in 7, and Danny is kind of going crazy. And you can count 7 through that. There is a measure of 8 that shows up that, again, I hope I'll get. And but what's really fun about counting this is that If you keep those quarter notes going in 7, when you hear where Danny puts his accents, they're on ands and uhs and e's, and now he would tell you, I'm sure he has it all mapped out, that it's this probably very complex web of polyrhythms that are happening on top of that ostinato. But I'm looking at it from the perspective of just counting simple time. I'm presenting this in the way that I think the average musician who just wants to be able to hit the accents where they're supposed to be, how they would count that without going too in depth on where those polyrhythms fall. So the only part we're going to look at is that middle section here, and I'm going to count through it. And one other thing I want to point out on this is, if you're counting along to this, if you get lost, and if you can anticipate where Danny comes in with this giant rototom fill, okay? If you can make that the beginning of a group of the 3 7s, if you do that, then you're going to get that measure of 8 at the end of it, but then from that point on, it's all 7 all the way through it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's what's going on there. Try that one a few times just to go through it. It's a good counting exercise. Hey, so one thing I forgot to point out is that this song made it up to number 22 on the US alternative charts, which that's pretty good for a song like this that is progressive metal and has some odd time stuff going on. Okay, folks, that's all I've got. I hope you enjoyed this romp through 11 metrically challenging songs that somehow managed to bulldoze their way through the tedium of mainstream radio to stake their claim on the charts. As always, I look forward to your comments, and if this video is any indication, there's a really good chance that your suggestions may make their way into my next video. Until then,